Hello Farm to School, it's Fun Food Friday again today, and we have a really fun dish that we're making today, and it is black bean brownies. And I know black bean brownies sound a little bit scary, but I promise that they're super yummy and you can't even tell there's beans in them. So our first ingredient is 1 can of black beans, and these are already drained and rinsed, so I did that ahead of time. And the awesome part about this recipe is everything goes into the blender, so it's super easy to make. So we're gonna put that in the blender first. All right, once we've got our black beans in, we are going to add 2 eggs. And then we are going to add 3 tablespoons of coconut oil melted. You can also use 3 tablespoons of olive oil if you don't have coconut oil on hand. And then we are going to do 2/3 cup of sugar. You can use coconut sugar, you can also use stevia, or you can use regular sugar. So whatever you're looking for in your recipe, if you want it to be a little bit less calories or a little healthier, you can use coconut sugar or stevia, or you can just use the regular sugar. All right, and then we have 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. And then we have about a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then a little bit of cinnamon. And for the cinnamon, I did about 1/2 teaspoon or so. And then our last ingredient is 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then we are going to blend that up until it's really nice and smooth. You might want to take the lid off a few times and just kind of use a rubber spatula to push everything down and make sure that it's getting all blended. It should look like brownie batter when it's all finished. So I'm gonna just push some of those ingredients down, and then I'm gonna give it another quick blend. Take it off of the blender. I'm going to grab my baking dish over here. Okay, so as you can see, I'll show you what it looks like when we're all finished with it here. Just going to take some of that off of the plate. Set that in the sink. And then you can see that the mixture ends up being just like brownie batter, so it's really nice and smooth. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just gonna quick fold in about 1/2 cup of chocolate chips. This is optional, but I highly recommend it. It makes it really nice and chocolatey. And you can also use dark chocolate chips, which makes it a little bit healthier too. So I'm gonna add in those chocolate chips, kind of just blend those around quick. And the reason we add these after is because if you added them before in the blender, they would turn into little chocolate chip bits. So we want to make sure we try to keep them as whole as possible so that they get nice and melted in the oven and they stay as regular chocolate chips instead of chocolate pieces. And then before I pour this into our 8x8 glass baking dish, I'm just going to give it a quick spray with some olive oil. And you can also put parchment paper if you want to do that as well. That makes for a nice easy cleanup, but I'm just going to use the cooking spray for today. And then we're gonna pour that into the dish. And I try to scoop as much out as possible. All right, that's pretty clean. I'm gonna smooth it down. Just like that. And then the last step, which is also optional, but I always like to do, is I just like to sprinkle a couple extra chocolate chips on the top. The recipe does call for 2/3 chocolate chips in it, and I put half a cup into the batter, so now I'm just gonna sprinkle a few on top, kind of to get me to that 2/3 cup. All right, perfect. Just put a couple on top so they can melt. All right. And then we are going to stick this in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. And once it's done, I will let you know and I'll take it out so you can see it. All right, I just took the brownies out of the oven after 20 minutes and they look awesome. So they are already nice and chocolatey and warm. I'm gonna let these cool down and then I can cut into them and they're ready to go. If you use this recipe at home, make sure to leave a comment below and take a picture and let me know that you made it. I would love to see your brownies as well. And I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.